How are you doing? Obviously 30 years it's taken you to win the league. We've won it a few times, Man United. I had to get that in there. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's been a good start, to say the least. It's exciting times. It's everything I've ever dreamed of.
Liverpool lift the Champions League trophy.
I couldn't have dreamt of achieving all this so early on. I just feel grateful for all the opportunities I've been given and the amazing people I've been able to work with and play with and be managed by, and everyone who's helped me along the journey. Because the journey doesn't start when you make the debut. That's when the hard work really starts, but it starts from the age of 5 or 6. And you got to work your way all the way up, and it's tough. It's tough to do that.
So you've talked about getting to this point now where you've been successful very early on in your career. What are the challenges now in terms of maintaining that success?
I don't know. It's always been maybe a fear for me. It's just wasted potential. I've always been scared of being that player that had the potential but never achieved it, and could have been, should have been, would have been. I don't want that. I want to be someone who did it, who achieved it, who hit them levels. He could have been club captain, he could have won these, he could have won that trophy, he could have been in and around the Ballon d'Or.
Because you would have seen players like that. I mean, Michael Owen was an absolute superstar as a kid.
It's gone in! Michael Owen, well, you would have put your shirt on him, wouldn't you?
Tore the World Cup apart and came back a superstar. And through injuries, really, he didn't go on to fulfil what we thought was going to be record-breaking in terms of England goals, etc., for Liverpool and stuff like that. Are they little situations that you look at and think that I can't afford to let that happen, that my training, my recovery, my preparation, my mentality, everything has to be on point? Everything
has to be on point. It's not just 90 minutes you play on a Saturday and a Tuesday or whenever you play. It's 24/7. It's literally a lifestyle. And that's probably came from your mate Ronaldo, who's made football like that.
Cristiano Ronaldo! Who else on a big night? Who else to open the scoring? Cristiano Ronaldo for Real Madrid.
It literally is every decision you have to question: is this going to help me? Is this going to improve me? Is this going to maybe hold me back for a day? Am I going to miss something? And it's all about them decisions. People make the right decisions. I'm lucky enough to have the people around me that help me with them decisions and don't tend to even make me question too many decisions. But when I do need to, I'd like to think that I'm able to rely on myself to make sure I'm making the right decisions for me.
You mentioned improving and improvements. Where next is there for you to improve as a player, Trent?
Everywhere. I think there's so many examples. Ronaldo and Messi are the two main ones I think I've ever seen of just never being satisfied. There's always something else to achieve, and if you have achieved everything like them two, then you have to do it again and again and again.
So in terms of specifically in your game, where would you look at your game and go, you know what, I'm pinpoint a certain area or areas that you feel there's room for improvement there? If you were going to say, I'm going to highlight a specific area.
I think right now for me, I'd say the one that I'd probably focus on the most now is probably my weak foot. That's something I think about that would help me, would make me a better player, would take probably my game to the next level. If I was able to do what I can do with my right foot with my left, then you're looking at something very special.
Is that extras in training on a daily basis?
Yeah, it's about improving it, because I'd say my right foot's age is 21 years of age, but my left foot's age probably about 8 or 9. So it's about taking them steps, and it'll take time, but if you're able to achieve that and be comfortable off both feet and be able to pick passes and crosses and create chances off both feet, then you take your game to the next level.
I'd really like to talk about how you've helped to change the expectations and the ambitions of a right-back, really. And so I'm open to anchor this little chat here in some facts that should make it a little bit clearer that this is more than just a matter of opinion. At the same time as winning the Premier League, last season you played in every single game in which Liverpool team conceded the fewest goals in the division. You had more touches of the ball than any other player in the entire Premier League. You created more assists than any other defender in the Premier League history, beating your own record from last season, by the way. And you're second overall in the league for assists, with only Kevin De Bruyne setting up more goals than yourself. And you scored more goals than any other fullback. You want me to keep going? And when it came to the number of passes, you slipped a little, but you come in second amongst fullbacks to your teammate Andy Robertson, which must have obviously hurt a little bit.
Yeah, that probably did hurt a little bit, but the fullback position over time has got more involved in the game.
How do you see the role of the right back now? So I'm interested to know that.
For me, they've got to kind of do everything.
Fired in, and young Trent Alexander-Arnold surprised everybody by stepping up.
I think it's one of them positions where probably like a midfielder where you have to demand them to defend and stop the goals, but also to be getting into the box and scoring them as well. So it's kind of the demands just keep getting higher and higher. And I think, again, if I'm looking at an area to improve, it'd probably be the goals. If I can add more goals to my game, then it takes it to another level. If I can keep improving little things, it'll take it to another level. But like I said, the fullback role is becoming a lot more involved in football in terms of getting on the ball, dictating the play, being able to make things happen and do things a bit more.
Good. Listen, it's plain to see that you've reached new levels in providing assists from right back. I mean, here are just a few little examples. You've got every club in the bag, so to speak. You can hit the lofted ball, you can drill a ball across the box, you can float balls over people's heads, defenders' heads. And that's, I think, the variety that you've got is what you showed that I don't think any other fullback on the planet's got at the moment.
For me, the best aspect of football for me is passing. I think it's an art form, really, and I think having the tools to be able to pick different passes and, like you said, like this
is like
a nice way to pass. Just when the defender thinks he can get it, it just sneaks away. They're the types of passes that.
Do you get more joy out of a pass like that, or when you're down near the touchline and cutting one back, or whipping it across the box, or like in this area?
Like that. The first one, the weighted pass.
Yeah.
A bit more because it takes a bit more in there. You have to think about it. You have to weight it.
This is my favourite one. My favourite assist that you've played. Just the weight of that pass, the timing, everything was perfect. With
yeah, that's probably mine. Apart from the corner, I'd probably say that's mine. Yeah, in the Premier League, that's my favourite assist.
Talking of assists, what are your targets around assists? So do you set yourself targets, or is it just something you just let flow?
Always double figures, always. Because the season before when I hit 12 and broke the record, I only played 29 games. I missed 9 with injury. So I thought if I can stay fit and I can play every game like I did, then that gives me 9 more games to get 1 more assist. So if I'm as consistent in getting as many assists as I was last season, I should be able to break the record again. So for me, going into the season now, it's trying to hit that 15 mark and just keep trying to set boundaries and keep trying to smash records. And by doing that, it's helping the team to win games, to win trophies and be successful.
So you talk about being an attacking-minded fullback and enjoying assists, etc. As a defender, do you go into a game just only talking about the attacking aspect, or do you think about I need to keep a clean sheet as well? Is that part of your makeup, or is it just mainly the attacking emphasis?
Clean sheet is the most important thing for me. That's the foundation on what the performance is built on. Is a clean sheet that gives you the best opportunity to go and win the game. Obviously, you're not going to lose the game if you keep a clean sheet. So for us, it's always about keeping the clean sheet. That's first and foremost, and then going and expressing yourself and having the trust in your teammates that when you're out of position or when you're attacking, then there's someone there that's gonna cover your shift for you and just fill in and slot in and cover for you.
Listen, your passing range and the variation over long and short distances, just talk us about that. Is that Klopp's influence, or is that just down to your confidence and your ability?
Well, a bit of both. It's about being able to do the passes and stuff, but it's also about having the players in the right positions and to be able to affect the game, because it takes 2 to make a good pass. But whether it be at one end of the pitch or the other end of the pitch, I'm trying to be as effective as possible.
So I just mentioned the great man's name, Klopp. What if you could pinpoint one or two influences that have been significant in your career so far from him, what would they be?
I'd say the confidence to just go out there and express myself. That's the biggest one for me. Knowing I've got his trust and faith to go forward and not be restricted to only being a defender. Like maybe back in the day that was how the game was played, but now being a modern day fullback, he's given me the freedom to go forward and express myself and create chances and cross the ball and make my own decisions and not being told what to do. So for me, it's just the freedom that he gives me. Is man management and how he's helped me grow and learn, told me what I need to improve, what I needed to get into the team when I was younger, how to keep my place, and just keep teaching me lessons on an everyday basis.
Is that would he on the training field pull you aside and say, listen, the last game I saw something that wasn't quite right, I need this, so I expect a bit more here?
If my positioning's not quite right and I've been caught out, then he'll talk me through where I should be, when I should, say if I've tried to press and it's been the wrong time and then just play round me too easily, and it'll be, you don't have to always go, because when you're young and naive and you're
desperate to get to people.
You're desperate to jump out, and that's when you just get played around because you're steaming in, you're not putting the brakes on early enough. So there's things like that, just little bits of detail that really make a big difference in the grand scheme of things. Me personally, growing up watching him, he's the best right back that I've ever seen. I want to know, for me, if I've got the qualities to play in midfield in the Premier League. That was probably the night when I fully believed in my head I can kick it with the best.
Where do you think you stand versus the likes of Giggs, Gerrard, Beckham, Lampard on the assist per game ratio?
This programme is brought to you by Under Armour. This programme is brought to you by Under Armour.
Well, this graph shows the number of assists that the top flight fullback in each Premier League season has achieved. And I think it helps prove that at least one aspect of what you're doing, that is assists, is very different to right backs of the past in this country. When we look at the graph, the typical number of assists in a season have averaged around 7. And then, surprise, surprise, you broke the record 2 seasons ago with 12 assists, and then promptly broke that record again with 13 assists last season. The average was around 7, and your last 2 seasons is above 12. Talk me through that.
I remember, I must have been about 14, 15, maybe 16, 17, I can't remember. But I remember speaking to my brother about that, and I was always looking at it and I was thinking, they're playing 40 games a season, why are they getting 4 or 5 assists? There should be more. I feel as though players can achieve more and there should be more.
Do you think the systems have helped in terms of numbers, or is it more down to the players as well? Because I think the system.
I think the systems have helped, because especially in our system, when our wingers are more tucked inside as wide forwards, that gives us a lot more space on the outside. So it's systems like that, and like diamond systems and stuff like that, and the variation of formations, and obviously like wing backs and stuff like that have really helped. And I think nowadays it's a massive role for a fullback to be able to create and score goals.
When you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself to get the hat-trick, to be at number 3, the third in a row. I mean, Leighton Baines has got 5. He won the title 5 years, over 5 years in his career. That's got to be a target that you're looking at to beat him, no?
Yeah, I think. Remember, Robbo was there as well. It's going to be difficult, but there's players like that, like Robbo and other amazing fullbacks in the Premier League, that push you to next boundaries, and you want to achieve more than them, really. You want to be the best. That's just the mentality of every footballer and every athlete, is you want to be the best, so you've got to outwork them, you've got to outdo them, you've got to outperform them. So that's the benchmark, is setting your levels higher than everyone else.
I mean, over all of the Premier League seasons, apart from the past 2, the defender that has had the most assists has averaged 7.15. In breaking the record for assists in both of the last 2 years, you've averaged 12.5 assists per season. Incredible. That's 75% more than the top defenders each season from the past. That is an incredible jump in comparison to the players that have gone before you. I mean, you've got to do something to keep that up. I mean, the benchmark you've set there is very high.
Yeah.
Do you put pressure on yourself to do that? I mean, you spoke about setting targets and stuff like that.
Yeah, I should be. I'd be disappointed if I never broke that record again. I've spoke openly to friends and stuff about Henry's record, shared with De Bruyne now, which is obviously a tough task, but it's achievable.
Big task.
Yeah, but I think for me, if a fullback can achieve 15 assists, then that's something special. That's what I want to achieve. I want to be breaking records. I want records to stand for a long time. So I want my name to be remembered in Premier League history. I kind of want fullbacks in the future to look and think, how did he achieve that? That's not possible. Just like maybe like the Invincibles or people who set points records and stuff like that and goal records, and you look at it and you kind of like question, how did someone even, how's that even possible? So I want things like that to happen. So if that's happening,
why haven't fullbacks topped that assist chart in previous years?
Maybe restrictions from the manager. I don't know. Only they can really answer that. All I can say is that, like I've shown the last 2 seasons, that it's possible to be hitting them numbers. Some people don't get the freedom to go forward that much, and there's teams that like the defenders to stay in defence. So there is restrictions, but I'm lucky enough to have a manager and a system that really accommodates me going forward.
So in your training approach, is there a lot of repetition in terms of the passing, the angles, the different types of part crosses and the assists that help you achieve these numbers? Or is it something that's been quite natural? Because you told me you've only been playing right back since you were 17 years old. I mean, that's amazing to see that you're actually now one of the best, if not the best, right backs in the world. Yeah,
it's been a short period of time, but I think the main thing is probably knowing your players, which is important, knowing the attackers, where they want the ball. If I'm fizzing it in at Sadio's left foot, it's going to be difficult for him to score. If I can find him on his right or in the air,
the detail.
It's the finer details that just make that chance a little bit more achievable for the striker. If I can cut one back from Mo on his left, he's got more chance of scoring. So it's that knowing where Verge wants the ball in the corner, knowing what areas to put the ball in, knowing people's strengths and just trying to give them what they need to score.
Premier League greats, where do you think you stand versus the likes of Giggs, Gerrard, Beckham, Lampard on the assist per game ratio list? Where do you think you would sit in amongst them, or do you think you'd even be amongst them in the Premier League we're talking about?
I think if you're looking at it in terms of like a maths point of view, I've got to be in and amongst them. But that's just because of how many games they went on to play. They played 500, 600, 700 games.
Where would you put yourself? 1 to 5.
Middle mark, I'd probably say, about 3.
Number 3, amongst Giggs, Gerrard, Lampard, Beckham. Here we go. Second, just nudged out by David Beckham. Unbelievable, huh?
Yeah.
Did you know that stat?
No.
No?
No.
How does that make you feel? Because I know there'd have been players there that you got your ex-captain there, legend of the club, of the city, and amongst the other greats of other clubs as well.
The Premier League legends, all 4 of them. People whose names have respect. You respect what they've done, regardless of who they play for. There's certain players who achieve things that you've just got to respect. No matter, putting club rivalries to the side, as a footballer, you know how difficult it is to achieve the things like that, what they've achieved, and I think they're the type of levels that I want to be hitting at the end of my career. I want to be in and amongst them names. I want respect from all fan bases.
I think a lot of players, that's what you want. That's what you're striving for. Obviously, you want to win things. You want to win titles, but you strive to have the respect of the fan, your peers, the people in the game, don't you?
Yeah, to get the respect and to be talked about for a long time. It's about being consistent, and that's not over 2 or 3 years or 4 years. You've got to be at the highest level for, we're talking 7, 8, 9, 10 years. For anyone who achieved that, they deserve all the respect that they get.
And yeah, we saw on that graphic there that you're amongst some of the Premier League's all-time greats midfielders. Is that somewhere you see yourself playing? Because a lot of people, when you speak to them, Trent could play in midfield, he played there as a kid. Is that something you think, you know what, I'd love to do that? We've seen the likes of Kimmich, we've seen the likes of Lahm, who's one of your heroes who you looked at as right back. Dani Alves has played in there before. Is that something you see yourself wanting to do, can do?
It intrigues me. It does. It intrigues me because I want to know, for me, if I've got the qualities to play in midfield in the Premier League. Because being able to do it at 14 and being able to do it at the highest level in the best league in the world is a whole different kettle of fish.
The pictures are different, aren't they?
Yeah, but I feel as though right now I get more of the ball than the midfielders. Like you've seen from the touch graphic and the passes, I'm getting probably more of the ball, getting more touches of the ball. So I'm happy with that. If I'm getting the most touches in the game, that means I'm putting a stamp on the game, or I should be influencing the game.
You must have had conversations with Klopp about this, no? Like if there's injuries or put me in there, boss.
Not really, no. I've never questioned any of his decisions because not only do I feel as though like I've got his trust, he knows he's got my trust, and I'd never question it because of the amazing things I've seen him do and the way that I see him go about things. So I've never pushed him to make a decision on that. I never would. It's up to him. If he decides to play me centre back, centre midfield, up front, that's his decision, and I'll try and do my best no matter what. So if and when that time comes, I'll be ready for the challenge, I think. Good.
Listen, I think it's interesting to compare like your stats with the guys we were just talking about. In my mind, have been some of the best right backs in Europe who've moved into midfield at certain times. Philipp Lahm, Joshua Kimmich, Dani Alves. This graphic compares all of your statistics based on playing across the big 5 leagues. I mean, and you stand up very well, by the way. It takes less time to get an assist from you than when any of these others, but you and Kimmich created the most chances, 2 every 90 minutes. I mean, for a right back to think you're creating 2 opportunities in a game, every game is phenomenal.
Yeah, to be in and around the same numbers as them legends, like you see the assists and that of Dani Alves, over 100 assists is so special. It's probably slept on a little bit. But for me, I'd probably say he's, from me personally, growing up watching him, he's the best right back that I've ever seen.
Alves?
Yeah, especially going
What
forward.
aspects of his game do you like? Do you look at and think, yes, that's something that I want to bring into my game? Because I've done that quite a lot. I used to look at players and think, I want to take that. I'll look at another player, I want to take that element. Do you know what I mean?
For me, it was a little bit of his mentality in terms of wanting to go forward and create and be in and amongst the goals and be scoring and assisting and being influential in the game. His fitness, massive at the time. Not many fullbacks were capable or having the demands of being able to make it to one box to the other. It was more
He patrolled the whole side, basically, didn't he?
He was everywhere, drift inside, drift outside. He had that freedom to really go where he wanted and just influence the game. But the main thing for me was just being in and amongst the attack and the attacks, being someone who could get the ball and make things happen.
I mean, we've talked loads about your attacking attributes, and rightly so, but I have to admit, the moment I kind of realised that you had what it takes to be a world-class defender I was at the game actually at Anfield, as when you came up against Leroy Sané in the Champions League quarter-final in 2018. Talk me through that game, and did that have any bearing on your confidence defending-wise at that level?
Yeah, massively, because 2 games before was
Rashford.
It was Rashford, and then the game after we went to Selhurst Park, and it was Zaha. He gave me a bit of a tough time as well. So then everyone was questioning whether to put me in for this game and whether I could handle him, because I think Sané won Young Player of the Year and that he was up there with the best player in the league.
And they normally was, a lot of that time, Klopp was against the harder team sometimes.
Yeah,
or
was rotating me out with Gomez.
Yeah.
I just remember there being a lot of doubt whether I was able to play at that level and handle such a player. So I remember that was always in my mind, just to prove them wrong. Just because I knew inside me I could do it.
Yeah.
And then just to be given the opportunity and the trust to play on that stage and be able to have the night that I did, that was probably the night when I fully believed in my head I can kick it with the best.
Would you say that defending is an area you feel you could still improve on?
Massively,
Yeah.
massively.
What areas would you highlight? I found as a young defender, it wasn't until probably my 20s, mid-20s, where I felt concentration-wise, I had my finger on the pulse. I kind of understood the game enough, understood other people's positions to really concentrate on my own game and maintain concentration, not for a half, for 93, 94 minutes.
I don't know, I say there's different levels of my concentration at the minute where it depends on the opposition still. I find myself in the highest of games, just 100% all the time, concentration, but we're to the point where after the game I come off mentally exhausted because I've just been concentrating so much. And then in some other games, that's not the case. I'm not coming off the pitch with that much mental exhaustion. So that's something that I need to work on. Positioning, moving your feet right, being able, your body shape, making sure you get in the race as soon as possible.
Do you watch clips? Some people just look at their best clips, and that's for their own personal confidence, and that's sometimes what gets some people by mentally. I was very much, I want to see the things I've done wrong, and I want to zone into it, highlight, and think about it. When the game comes and this scene comes about again, I've seen it before, I've highlighted it, let me rectify it. Are you along them lines?
Yeah, it's embarrassing. There's a sense of like...
Pride.
Yeah, your pride's dented when you've made a mistake or someone can get by you too easily. Or someone snuck in at the back post and scored and you feel like you've let your team down. So for me, it's about watching them clips back and making sure I never feel like that again. I'd say, like I said, the Rashford game, that's the biggest lesson. That's the best thing that's ever happened to me, really, because the feelings that I felt, I made sure I said to myself, you can't feel like that again. I felt like I'd let everyone down. I felt embarrassed.
You don't want to go anywhere, do you?
Ashamed, no. I just wanted to crawl into a ball and disappear, but you've got to be a man. You've got to face up to them things, and because at the time my career was just going like that, and then it hit a wall, and it was about whether I stand there and I stop and think it's too much for me. I can't play at this level, or if I break down the wall and kick on.
But mentally, for a young player to see that and acknowledge that and then to work on that and to say, right, I'm not going to accept that again, this is me, I'm going to go forward, I think that's like an amazing... Where does that mentality come from? Is that something that's been built in at home, or you've got from being at that club?
Both, I'd say. It was almost as if it was like, well, he was right, he shouldn't be putting me into these games because when I'm against the best wingers in the league, maybe I can't manage to defend against them, but I was able to prove that I could. So the mentality came from growing up that way, trying to just the competitive nature of not losing, not getting outdone by someone, and if that happens, don't let it happen again.
I can sense one similarity between me and you, but if you look back at any of the interviews I've done about achieving things or maintaining success, etc., I was very much driven by fear and pride and ego to a certain extent. You seem very similar in that respect. Is that true?
Yeah, I think all of them, like I said, the fear of wasting potential, because growing up I was always, he can make it, he's got what it takes, he can make it, he's good enough. But I'd seen that so many times in the academy. There's always someone a year, 2 years above who always, it got said about them and then they fell off, or they had a bad injury, or it never worked out, or the manager weren't having them, and I always thought that can't be me. But like I said, now when you have been able to break through and achieve things, it's about seeing the bigger picture. What do you want to be remembered for? What do you want people to say when you're done? How do you want people to speak about you and your team and what you achieved? And do you want to be remembered as a decent player, or do you want to be remembered as someone who changed the game and took the standards to another level? And that's what I want to be remembered for, is someone who gave everything to the game, gave everything to the club, and be remembered as a legend of Premier League football.
I think you continue with that kind of mentality, you're not going to go far wrong. You're at the right place to do it as well. But listen, can we just talk about that corner? I know it brings a smile to your face. The Barcelona game that led to Origi's winner. Talk me through this. What did you see? When did you know it was available to do? And then its execution?
Well, it all happens in a matter of, 2-3 seconds. I actually weren't meant to take the corner. I'd say that there is probably the best moment I've probably had on a football pitch. The most emotional moment. Unbelievable. Just.
Is it reality hitting you there?
Not even. Nah, I don't even think it's like what. I don't even know what's happened. Can't even describe it now. Just the most crazy night that probably the club's had at Anfield, a night that will always be remembered, but a special night for everyone and the club.
Right, Trent, here we are. We're on the football pitch here. We're going to have to kind of recreate the iconic corner kick that you took. 3-3, Anfield, Origi. 4 balls each, yeah?
Yeah.
And we'll see if we can hit that target just there. I fancy myself to get 1 out of the 4 minimum. What are you going for?
2.
2?
2.
All right. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You go first. Let me see what I'm working with.
Right. So you put the ball down, you walk away. Oh no! So was you just looking there? Was you looking right now?
I was just there, and I just walked away. And I've seen it.
In 1. Ah, I love it.
It's just natural. It's all just natural, isn't it?
See, I've never took a corner in my life. That's the thing.
Have you actually never?
No, I'm a centre half, bro. Centre half don't take corners. No, the ball was flat. I didn't have a go.
Ah!
I'm happy to see that. I got to be honest. There you go. Oh my God! How's that missed?
You should have 1. It's your last chance.
Right, away. Oh my God! No. He's done it. Oh, he's done it. That's why he's the man who took the corner, man. I just want to get your take on this. When we used to win things back in the day, in my day, I would enjoy the night. I'd have an unbelievable night. Enjoy it to the fullest. Last man standing, trying to be that guy. But then as soon as that night's finished, I was on to what's next, what's coming next, who are we getting, to the CEO, to the manager, who's our next acquisition. Always thinking about the next thing. And I didn't enjoy, when I look back, I didn't really enjoy it for long periods. And I feel like I regret that a little bit sometimes. But on the other hand, maybe it's what kept us sustaining, so winning, and being successful. Where are you with that?
I'm the same. I feel as though like the team as well, the mentality of the team, the manager, it has to be like that, because you can't stay at the same level. You always have to improve, because other teams around you will go out, spend money, get more players.
Chelsea have just done that.
Get new managers, always trying to evolve and improve and get to that level that you're at. And I think, like we learnt this in the Champions League last season, that the season after you've won something is so hard to go again, because everyone's focused on you being the champion. You're the one that everyone wants to beat. So that's our mentality going into the season now, is we know that we are obviously we're the champions and stuff, but we're the team to beat. Everyone has that extra little bit of motivation for other teams.
It's everyone else's cup final.
Yeah,
when they play
exactly. So we need to make sure we match that level of intensity, of that attitude, and make sure that we're at 100% as well, which has got us to where we are now. But we have to maintain that, and we can't slip off. So it's also about improving, evolving, making sure that we don't take our foot off the gas and we keep pushing, because there's so much more that we can achieve individually and as a team.
We talk about pressure. Do you feel a bit more pressure being a local lad, being a local Liverpool boy? There's a deeper connection with the fans maybe, and that pressure that comes from them, and the expectation levels now.
No, I wouldn't say I feel any pressure. Not at all. I feel as though I have a special relationship with the fans. And I get how they think and the ways that they think, understand their thought processes, and I feel as though they can relate to me because I'm from the same city and from the same areas and stuff. But I think there's no pressure there for me. I think it's just a better feeling when I can achieve things. I can celebrate with a lot of people that I know who have waited so long. There's people crying and everything like that. It's just amazing feelings to have. There's no pressure there, but there's more people who feel as though that they're closer to it because they know me and stuff. So there's a lot more messages and people congratulating you, and
Emotion.
Yeah, there's a lot more emotion involved in the game when you're a local lad. But there's not extra pressure because I'm still young, I'm still learning, I'm still growing, and fortunately they understand that.
And talking about all of that, about the fans and that connection and stuff like that, let's fast forward 6-7 years. You've won everything consistently, sustained this success and domination with Liverpool. You're driven. I can sense it through doing this interview with you. I can tell there's a drive inside you to be the best you can be and achieve and set new records here and there. Would that ever mean swapping countries, swapping clubs, and doing something somewhere else and testing yourself? I didn't do it. I sit here and think I should have, because I reckon I was good enough. I should have tested myself abroad, and maybe I would have achieved even more, maybe.
I think, obviously, the mentality now is I'm a Liverpool player, and that's where my head needs to be. I want to achieve as much as I can with Liverpool.
Alexander-Arnold. Oh, that's lovely. Robertson finishes another sensationally smooth, slick Liverpool move. That's pretty special football.
Whether that changes in the future, who knows? But I think if that decision needs to be made, I trust myself at the time to make the right decision, whether that be I need to try and achieve something somewhere else and I need a different challenge, or I stay and try and achieve as much as I can at one club. I can't say right now, but I can say that I'm a Liverpool player right now, and obviously I want to achieve as much as I can while I'm at the club, whether that be for 10, 15 years or whenever.
I think my problem was when you're winning, you've done everything to get to the top of the mountain and keep winning and stay there. And you know every year you're competing, and every year you're going to be in and around the steps, to be walking up the steps to pick up a trophy. How can you leave?
Yeah,
that's how I used to think.
Yeah, I understand that mentality. It's like you've just struggled for so long, and then now you're there. Why would you go back to the uncertainty of can I do this? And it's probably just, I don't know, just that comfort zone kind of feeling, and whether you're willing to risk it or not. And I think, like you said, for you were able to not risk it and still be able to achieve amazing things after that, and stuff like that. So, like I said, I trust myself to make the right decision at the time, if that does come around.
Well, let's talk responsibility. That means the armband. I know I heard you say you want to be Liverpool captain one day.
Yeah.
That's one of your dreams. England captain. What type of captain would you be? What do you see yourself in the future being? Someone like, before you answer, I'll give you a couple of variables that it could be. You could be the shouter, the baller, the one that cajoles everybody, grabs people, or the example, someone who's the quiet but leads by example and has that authoritative demeanour.
I think The best example I've got is Hendo at the club, which he's a mixture. If you need a grilling, he'll do that. If you need an arm around you, he'll do that as well. But he also leads by example. His energy, his mentality, his hunger, his drive every day, no days off. As a young kid, when you're looking at that, you're thinking, I've got to be in the gym as well, because if he's there, he's achieved so much. These players have done so much that I need to be doing the same things as them. This is what I need to do to achieve the levels that they have. So I feel as though I'd be possibly a mixture of both. Someone who, when needs to, will be vocal and loud. And someone who needs to motivate the team, but also someone who leads by example, making the right decisions on and off the pitch, making sure that I'm a role model for the young players at the club, all around the country. I want people to look up to me and wanna be me, because I'm making the right decisions. I'm living the dream. I'm achieving amazing things. I'm leading by example all the time, and I want to make sure that on and off the pitch I'm a good person and a good footballer.
That's great. I love to hear that as well. But let's fast forward again, and imagine Trent. The fibres aren't the same. The hamstrings have gone a little bit. The fast twitch muscles have gone a little bit. And the boots are being hung up. What are the targets? What do you want to be looking back on then? What are the things you want to have achieved by then?
Everything, really. I want to have won silverware with England. That's something that
Hasn't been done for years.
No, no, you're right. Come close a couple of times, but not being able to do that. But that's something I feel as though is achievable, especially with the players that we've got now. I think on a personal note, to hit the 100 caps mark will be something that I'll be happy with. That's something that I want to achieve, and I feel as though is possible. Obviously, circumstances change and stuff like that, but for me, in my mind, that's where I need to. That's what I should be achieving. And if I don't achieve that for reasons that are in my control, like not performing, not being selected for attitude reasons and stuff like that, and that'll disappoint me massively. I can't let that happen. And as for club level, just keep winning trophies. Make sure.
You'd be happy with what, 4, 6?
I think
2.
I think Premier Leagues. If let's talk numbers. Say 5. I would say 5. Champions Leagues, I'd say 3.
Wow. I was happy with 1, man.
As of right now, where I am now mentally, that's achievable. That should be my targets. And if I can't control whether we win or not, because it seems sport, but that's the mentality I have. So that's what I want to achieve.
You mentioned silverware of England. I've got to go back to it because it's something that eluded me as a player. When do you think that's achievable with the players that you can see in and around the squad now, and the ones that are on their way into the squad and just knocking on the door?
Soon. I thought this summer was a great opportunity, as it being a home tournament. But I feel as though I can't speak for the future, but as of right now, I think we're in a really good stage. We're young, we've got that blend of young and old. Great camp, great manager, great environment when we're there. So I think give us maybe, obviously, the Euros next year and the World Cup after that to maybe mature more as young players, get that experience of winning more trophies at club level. Give us what, 3 years, is it? 2 years? Yeah, so 2 years we should all be maybe hitting our prime of our careers, which is exciting to think about. So there's a chance there.
We're going to win the World Cup. I like it.
That's where our mentality needs to be as a country. they're the levels that we should be aspiring to reach, because it is achievable. If you look at the Man City lads, us, Liverpool, we're all winning trophies at club level. So if we all know how to win games, we know how to win trophies, what it takes. So that should be transferred over into England, and hopefully, like I said, over the next few years, we're able to achieve a lot more and be able to be a bit more experienced up there. Then we should be able to achieve amazing things.
Well, Trent, man, listen, thanks for your time. I think, listen, you've made an unbelievable impact on the right-back position for one so young. So much more room for improvement, I'm sure you'd say and agree with, and records to be broken, I'm sure. Listen, really appreciate your time. Good luck with your Reds. Hopefully not too far above my Reds this season, but good luck.
Thank you.